The grand throne room of the Zorian Empire fell silent as King Vala raised his crystalline staff. Jack stood in energy shackles, his human form dwarfed by the towering blue-skinned aliens surrounding him. For the crime of trespassing in forbidden space, the king's voice boomed, the human will face execution at dawn. From behind a shimmering veil, Princess Lily watched with wide violet eyes. She had never seen a human before, this strange, resilient creature who stood unbowed even facing death. While her father saw a criminal, she saw something else entirely, courage. Jack lifted his head, meeting the king's gaze without fear. I came in peace, your majesty. My ship was damaged. I meant no disrespect to your laws. The court erupted in whispers. No prisoner had ever spoken so boldly to the king. Lily found herself leaning forward, captivated by this alien's defiance. Something stirred within her, a feeling she couldn't name. As guards led Jack away, their eyes met for one brief moment through the veil. Time seemed to stop. The Zorian Empire stretched across 7 star systems, ruling with advanced technology and ancient traditions. Their society valued strength, honor, and absolute obedience to the crown. Humans were considered primitive, dangerous creatures who had only recently achieved faster-than-light travel. Most Zorians had never seen one in person. The Empire's laws were clear, any unauthorized entry into Zorian space meant death. Jack had been a deep space explorer, mapping uncharted regions for Earth's expansion initiative when his ship's navigation system malfunctioned during a solar storm. He'd emerged from hyperspace directly in Zorian territory, his ship immediately surrounded by patrol vessels. Now he sat in a cell made of pure energy, awaiting his fate. The Zorians were taller, stronger, with skin that shifted from blue to purple depending on their emotions. They communicated partially through bioluminescent patterns on their skin, something Jack found fascinating despite his circumstances. He tried to explain his situation, but the Zorian justice system didn't recognize accidents. Their society was built on absolute rules, absolute consequences. Princess Lily had lived her entire life within the palace walls, trained from birth to be the perfect heir. She spoke 17 languages, mastered combat arts, and studied governance. But she'd never felt truly alive until she saw Jack's defiance. That night, she accessed the prisoner database, studying everything about humans. Their short lifespans amazed her. Zorians lived for centuries, yet these creatures packed so much passion into mere decades. She learned about their wars, their art, their inexplicable ability to bond with almost any species they encountered. Unable to resist, she activated the surveillance feed from Jack's cell. He wasn't sleeping. Instead, he was exercising, push-ups, sit-ups, maintaining his strength even facing death. When he finished, he sat cross-legged and began to meditate, a slight smile on his face. "How can you be at peace?" she whispered to the screen. As if hearing her, Jack opened his eyes and looked directly at the camera. "Because fear won't change tomorrow," he said quietly. "But courage might." Lily's skin flickered purple with emotion. No one had ever affected her this way. Lily made a decision that would change everything. Using her royal clearance, she entered the detention level, cloaking herself in a holographic disguise of a guard. She had to understand this human, had to know what made him so different. Jack looked up as she approached his cell. "You're not a guard," he said immediately. "Your walk is different. Too graceful. Too curious." Shocked, Lily dropped the disguise. "How did you know?" "Humans are good at reading body language," Jack smiled. "We had to survive. You must be someone important to access this level." "I'm Princess Lily," she admitted, surprising herself with the honesty. "You're to be executed tomorrow." "I know," Jack replied calmly. "Yet you're not afraid." "Fear is just another cage. I refuse to die in prison twice." They talked through the energy barrier for hours. Jack told her about Earth's blue skies, about music that could make you cry, about humans' strange ability to find hope in impossible situations. Lily found herself telling him about her dreams of seeing beyond the palace, about feeling trapped in traditions she didn't understand. Their conversation was interrupted by alarms. Guards rushed in, forcing Lily to retreat. But not before Jack called out, "Princess, in my culture, we have a tradition. The condemned can request a challenge. Single combat. If they win, they earn their freedom." Lily's eyes widened. This existed in Zorian law too, the right of trial. But no one had invoked it in centuries. The next morning, as Jack was brought before the court for execution, Lily stood. "Father, the prisoner requests the right of trial by combat." The court gasped. King Vala's skin darkened with anger. "The human dares invoke our sacred law. Your own laws state any sentence being may request it," Lily said, her voice steady though her hearts raced. "To deny him would break our most ancient traditions." The king glared at his daughter, then at Jack. "Very well. You will face our champion, Goreth the undefeated. When you fall, your death will be even more painful." Jack nodded. "I accept." Lily suppressed a smile. She'd studied humans. They had something Zorians didn't expect: adaptability and ungodly determination. Jack was given 3 days to prepare. Goreth was a mountain of muscle and skill, undefeated in 40 years of combat. The arena began selling tickets immediately. Everyone wanted to see the small human get crushed. But Lily had other plans. She visited Jack again, this time openly. "You need training. Goreth fights with energy weapons and enhanced strength. You'll die in seconds without preparation." "Then teach me," Jack said simply. "Why would you help me?" "Because you're the first being who's ever made me question everything I thought I knew." She arranged for him to be moved to a training facility, claiming it was to make the fight more entertaining. There, she secretly coached him in Zorian combat techniques. But more importantly, Jack taught her human concepts: improvisation, misdirection, psychological warfare. Zorians fight with honor and patterns, Jack observed. But humans survived by being unpredictable. As they trained, something grew between them. Not just attraction, but understanding. Lily saw how humans turned weakness into strength. Jack saw how Zorians' rigid honor could be both their greatest strength and greatest vulnerability. During training breaks, they talked. Jack shared stories of Earth, how humans had nearly destroyed themselves multiple times but always found a way to unite when it mattered. Lily spoke of the burden of being heir, of wanting to reform the empire but feeling powerless against tradition. "Your father wasn't always this harsh," Jack guessed. "Something happened to make him fear outsiders." Lily's skin shimmered with surprise. "How did you know?" "My mother was killed by raiders from beyond our borders when I was young. Since then, he's shown no mercy to outsiders." "I'm sorry," Jack said genuinely. "Laws can make us build walls or bridges. Your father chose walls. And you?" "I lost my entire crew when my ship malfunctioned. But here I am, finding friendship with the princess of my executioners. I choose bridges." That night, Lily couldn't sleep. She'd been raised to see aliens as threats or subjects, never as equals. But Jack treated her not as royalty, but as a person. It was intoxicating and terrifying. She was falling for him, and she knew it could destroy everything. King Vala noticed his daughter's frequent visits to the prisoner. "You grow too interested in this human," he warned her. "I'm studying our enemy," Lily lied. "Know your opponent, you taught me that." "He's not your opponent. He's a criminal awaiting justice." But the king ordered surveillance increased. He saw how his daughter watched the human train, how her skin shifted to warmer colors in Jack's presence. He called his advisor. "The princess is compromising herself. Double the guard. After the human dies, we'll speak of her judgment." Meanwhile, Jack noticed the increased security. They're watching us more closely. My father suspects, Lily admitted. You should distance yourself from me. After I lose, you'll need his trust. After you lose? Lily laughed, surprising them both. You're the most stubborn being I've ever met. You might actually have a chance. Jack caught her hand, a bold move that sent purple light racing across her skin. I'm not fighting just for my freedom anymore. What else? She whispered. For the chance to show your people that humans and Zorians could be more than enemies. 2 nights before the fight, Lily made a dangerous decision. She disabled the surveillance and visited Jack's cell alone. This might be our last real conversation, she said. Then let's make it count, Jack replied. They talked about everything and nothing. Jack taught her human games, rock, paper, scissors, which delighted her with its simplicity. She showed him how Zorians communicated through skin colors, teaching him to read basic emotions. Purple means what? Jack asked, noticing her constant shifting to that hue. It means attraction, she admitted, then quickly added, or various strong emotions. Jack stood, approaching the energy barrier between them. Lily, if things were different, if I weren't about to fight for my life, if you weren't a princess and I weren't a condemned alien, would you give us a chance? Her whole body glowed purple. Yes, she breathed. But things aren't different. No, Jack agreed. But maybe they could be. If I win, if I earn my freedom, would your father allow me to stay? To prove humans can contribute to your empire? You're thinking beyond survival. I'm thinking about a future worth surviving for. The day arrived. The arena held 50,000 Zorians, all eager to see the human fall. King Vala sat in the royal box, Lily beside him, her face carefully neutral though her hearts pounded. Jack entered first, looking impossibly small in basic armor. The crowd laughed. Then Gorath appeared, 3 meters tall, muscles enhanced with biotechnology, carrying an energy staff that crackled with power. The rules are simple, the king announced. Fight until one yields or dies. Begin. Gorath charged immediately, his staff sweeping in a pattern Lily had shown Jack dozens of times. Jack rolled aside, barely avoiding the strike that left a crater where he'd stood. The crowd roared approval. But Jack was watching, learning. Gorath fought with perfect technique, every move from centuries of tradition. Jack fought like a human, desperate, creative, unpredictable. When Gorath struck high, Jack went low. When Gorath expected honor, Jack threw sand. The crowd began to murmur. The human was lasting longer than anyone expected. Lily gripped her chair, her skin flickering between colors as she watched Jack implement everything they'd practiced. Her father noticed. You trained him, he said quietly. You helped the enemy. He's not the enemy, Lily said, standing up to her father for the first time. He's just someone trying to survive. In the arena, Jack had found his rhythm. Gorath was stronger, faster, but predictable. Every Zorian fighter followed the same patterns, the same honorable rules. Jack followed none of them. When Gorath raised his staff for a traditional salute between rounds, Jack didn't wait, he struck, knocking the weapon aside. The crowd gasped at the dishonor, but Jack didn't care about their honor, he cared about survival and proving a point. You fight without dignity. Gorath roared. I fight to live, Jack replied, circling. On Earth, we learned that dignity means nothing if you're dead. He began to use the arena itself, kicking up dust, using pillars for cover, constantly moving. Gorath grew frustrated, his perfect technique useless against an opponent who wouldn't stand still and fight properly. Lily watched her father's expression change from confidence to concern. Jack wasn't just surviving, he was winning. The human was teaching 30,000 Zorians that their way wasn't the only way, might not even be the best way. During a break in combat, medics checked both fighters. Gorath was barely winded but confused. Jack was exhausted but determined. Lily made another decision. She went to Jack. You're doing amazingly, but Gorath hasn't used his full power. In the second phase, he'll activate his bio-enhancements. Then I'll adapt, Jack panted. Like humans always do. Jack, she said urgently, aware everyone was watching, if you win this, my father will never accept it. He'll find another way to execute you. Then I'll face that when it comes. No, Lily's skin blazed purple for all to see. If you win, I invoke the right of claim. As princess, I can claim any victor as my personal champion. He couldn't touch you. The arena went silent. The princess had just publicly declared her protection of the human. King Vala stood, his skin dark with rage. Lily. You dare. I dare to see strength in difference, father. I dare to believe we can be better than our fear. Jack looked at her with something like awe. You're risking everything. You taught me that bridges are better than walls, she replied, loud enough for all to hear. The fight resumed with new intensity. Gorath's bio-enhancements activated, his speed doubling, his strength tripling. Jack could barely stay alive, dodging desperately. But he noticed something, the enhancements used energy, and Gorath was burning through it quickly, expecting a fast victory. Jack shifted tactics. Instead of trying to win, he focused on surviving, on making Gorath waste energy. He ran, he dodged, he refused to engage directly. The crowd began to boo, calling him a coward. Stand and fight. Gorath bellowed. Make me, Jack gasped back, diving behind another pillar. Lily understood Jack's strategy even if the crowd didn't. Humans had evolved as persistence hunters, able to outlast prey through sheer endurance. Jack was doing what humans did best, enduring. King Vala saw it too. The human draws out the battle. He knows Gorath's enhancements have limits. As you taught me, father, Lily said. Know your enemy's weakness. The king's expression was unreadable. His daughter was using his own lessons against him, and despite his anger, he felt a flicker of pride. She would be a formidable queen one day, even if her choice in champions was questionable. As Gorath's enhancements began to flicker, Jack pressed his advantage. But then Gorath did something unexpected, he threw down his weapon. You fight without honor, human. Face me strength to strength, or be known forever as a coward. It was a trap, and Jack knew it. But he also knew the crowd was watching, that Lily's future authority depended on him being seen as worthy. He dropped his scavenged weapon. All right. But on one condition. If I win, you'll listen to what I have to say. They grappled, and despite exhaustion, Jack's knowledge from Lily proved invaluable. He knew where Zorians were weakest, where their joints bent differently. When Gorath grabbed him, Jack didn't resist, he redirected, using the alien strength against him. It was a human martial art called Aikido, and no Zorian had seen anything like it. The fight became less about strength and more about philosophy, rigid tradition against fluid adaptation. Finally, impossibly, Jack managed to pin Gorath using a combination of leverage and the giant's own exhaustion. Yield, Jack gasped. Gorath struggled but couldn't break free. The position was perfect. I yield to the superior warrior, Gorath said formally. Jack helped Gorath up, another gesture that shocked the crowd. Enemies didn't show respect after combat in Zorian culture. But Jack wasn't Zorian. You're an honorable warrior, Jack told Gorath, loud enough for all to hear. In my world, that makes you worthy of respect, not domination. He turned to address the crowd, swaying on his feet. I came to your space by accident. Your king sentenced me to death for it. I don't blame him, he protects his people. But I want you to know that humans don't seek to conquer or destroy. We seek to understand, to learn, to grow alongside others. We've survived not through strength alone, but through cooperation. We've allied with species across the galaxy, each teaching us something new. You see my victory as impossible, but it's not, it's just different. Imagine what Zorians and humans could accomplish together. Some in the crowd were listening. Others shouted for his death despite his victory. King Vala stood. You've won your freedom, human. But nothing more. You'll leave our space immediately. Father, Lily stepped forward. I've invoked the right of claim. He's my champion now. That means he stays. The palace was in uproar. A human as the princess's champion was unprecedented. Nobles demanded the king override his daughter's claim. But Zorian law was absolute, the right of claim couldn't be revoked. Jack was given quarters in the palace, though under heavy guard. Lily visited him as he recovered. That was incredibly brave or incredibly stupid, she said. Both, probably. It's a human specialty. His body was covered in bruises, but he was smiling. You risked everything for me, he said. Your father may never forgive you. He'll understand eventually. You showed our people something important today, that strength comes in many forms. And if he doesn't understand? Then I'll be a different kind of ruler when my time comes. One who builds bridges. Jack reached out, and she took his hand. Their different physiologies meant nothing in that moment, connection was connection. I need to tell you something, Jack said. Before the fight, I thought I was just trying to survive. But when you stood up for me, when you risked your position, I realized something. What? She whispered. I love you, Lily. Not because you saved me, but because you see possibilities where others see problems. King Vala summoned Jack the next day. My daughter thinks you could benefit our empire. I disagree. But I'll give you one chance to prove your worth. He led Jack to a room where several Zorian scientists worked on a massive device. This is our attempt at a new hyperdrive. It's failed every test. If humans are so innovative, fix it. Jack studied the device. The technology was advanced but flawed in its basic approach. Zorians built everything to be perfect, permanent. Humans built things to fail safely and be replaced. Your problem is here, Jack said after hours of study. You're trying to prevent quantum fluctuations. Humans learn to ride them instead, like surfing a wave instead of building a dam. Working with the scientists, Jack introduced human concepts, redundancy, flexible parameters, controlled chaos. It went against everything Zorians believed about engineering. But it worked. The drive activated successfully for the first time. King Vala watched the readings, his expression unreadable. This technology could revolutionize our fleet. It could, Jack agreed. And I'll freely share it and more. Not as payment for my life, but as proof that our species are better together. Before the king could respond, alarms blared throughout the palace. The same raiders who had killed the queen years ago had returned, this time with a massive fleet. They'd been watching, waiting for the empire to be distracted by internal politics. All defenses to maximum. King Vala commanded. They've chosen their moment well. Our fleet is dispersed across the systems. Lily arrived with military commanders. The situation was dire, the raiders would reach the capital in hours, and they had new weapons that could pierce Zorian shields. We need every advantage, Lily said. Jack, you've fought asymmetric battles. Help us. Jack studied the tactical displays. Your military doctrine is too rigid. You meet them force to force. But humans learn from guerrilla warfare, hit where they're weak, run where they're strong. That's cowardice, one general spat. That's survival, Jack countered. And victory. Your pride won't protect your citizens when the raiders breach your defenses. King Vala watched Jack work with his commanders, introducing unconventional tactics. Despite everything, the human was trying to save the empire that had nearly executed him. Why help us? The king asked quietly. Because Lily loves her people, Jack replied. That's enough for me. The battle was like nothing in Zorian military history. Instead of meeting the raiders in traditional formation, Jack convinced them to use hit-and-run tactics, hidden positions, and psychological warfare. He had them broadcast recordings of the raiders' previous defeats, demoralizing the enemy. He suggested using the prototype hyperdrive technology to make micro-jumps, appearing and disappearing unpredictably. "This is madness," Gorith, now a reluctant ally, said. "This is human warfare," Jack replied. "We've been outnumbered and outgunned for most of our history. We learned to be creative." The strategy worked. The raiders, expecting traditional Zorian tactics, were confused and scattered. But the enemy adapted too, and soon the palace itself was under threat. In the war room, King Vala made a decision. All remaining ships, protect the evacuation routes. Save the citizens. "Father, no." Lily protested. "You'll die defending the palace." "A king's duty," he said firmly. Jack stepped forward. "There's another way. But you'll have to trust me. Trust a human." King Vala looked at this small alien who had defeated his champion, won his daughter's heart, and now offered to save his empire. Jack's plan was insane by Zorian standards. He would take a small ship, loaded with the experimental hyperdrive, and jump directly into the raiders' command ship. Not to attack, but to negotiate. "They're raiders, not conquerors," Jack explained. "They want resources, not destruction. Give them a reason to leave." "We don't negotiate with murderers," King Vala said. "Then you'll die with honor while your people burn," Jack said bluntly. "Your wife's death was a tragedy, but don't let revenge destroy what she loved." The king's skin darkened dangerously, but Lily intervened. "Father, please. Trust him. Trust us." Jack and Lily took the ship together, against all protests. As they prepared to jump, Jack turned to her. "If this fails, I want you to know that meeting you was worth everything." "It won't fail," Lily said. "We're stronger together." They jumped directly into the raider flagship's hangar. Immediately surrounded, Jack did something unexpected. He challenged their leader to single combat, winner takes all. The raiders, respecting strength above all else, agreed. But this time, Jack didn't fight alone. Lily stood with him, princess and human together. The raider leader was massive, scarred, brutal. But he hadn't faced a human Zorian team before. Jack's unpredictability combined with Lily's precision created something new. They moved in harmony, covering each other's weaknesses. When Jack was knocked down, Lily defended him. When Lily was grabbed, Jack freed her using techniques no raider had seen. The fight wasn't just physical, it was symbolic. Two species working as one, proving that unity was stronger than division. Finally, bloodied but victorious, they stood over the defeated raider leader. "Your empire dies today," the raider gasped. "No," Jack said, helping him up, again showing mercy that confused everyone. "Today, you have a choice. Keep raiding and face extinction as the empire and humanity unite against you. Or trade with us peacefully and prosper." The king would never agree, the raider laughed bitterly. "The king is listening," Vala's hologram appeared. He'd watched everything. "The human speaks truth. I've held on to hate too long. My wife wouldn't want eternal war. Make your choice, raider. Peace and trade, or annihilation. But know that Zorians and humans stand together now." The raiders chose peace. It wasn't easy or immediate, but the threat of a united Zorian-human alliance was enough to bring them to negotiations. The battle became the foundation of a new era. In the throne room, King Vala addressed his court and the human ambassador, Jack. "I was wrong. I let grief blind me to possibility. The human has shown strength I didn't expect, wisdom I didn't credit your species with possessing." He turned to Lily and Jack. "More than that, he's shown me that my daughter's judgment surpasses my own. Princess Lily, your choice of champion is approved and celebrated." The court erupted in discussion, but the king wasn't finished. "Jack of Earth, I offer you citizenship in the Zorian Empire, and position as advisor on interspecies relations. Will you accept?" Jack looked at Lily, whose skin was brilliant purple with joy. "I accept, Your Majesty. Earth will be honored to have closer ties with Zoria." Lily took Jack's hand publicly, no longer hiding their connection. "Father, I have something to say as well." "Speak, daughter." "I love him. And with your blessing, I would make him not just my champion, but my partner." The king studied them for a long moment. A human and a Zorian, it had never been done. But then again, many things he'd thought impossible had happened recently. "You would tie our bloodline to humanity?" he asked. "I would tie our future to growth, father. To adaptation. To strength through diversity." The king's skin shifted through many colors before settling on a warm gold, acceptance, even happiness. "Then you have my blessing. May your union bring the same strength to our empire that it brought to our defense." The announcement sent shockwaves through both Zorian and human space. Some celebrated, others protested. But Jack and Lily stood firm together. In the following months, Jack worked to establish exchange programs between Earth and Zoria. Young humans came to learn Zorian discipline and technology. Young Zorians went to Earth to learn creativity and adaptability. "You're revolutionizing both our societies," Lily told him one evening as they watched Earth's sun set from the observation deck of a Zorian ship. "We're just building bridges," Jack replied, pulling her close. "Though I never imagined my engineering career would lead here." "Where?" "To loving an alien princess who saved my life by making me fight for it." The wedding was the first of its kind, a blend of human and Zorian traditions. Jack wore traditional Zorian ceremonial armor modified for his frame. Lily wore a dress that shifted colors like her skin, incorporating earth silk and Zorian crystal. King Vala himself performed the ceremony, speaking words in both languages. "Today, we don't just unite two beings, but two futures. Let this be remembered as the day fear died and hope was born." Gorath, now Jack's friend and training partner, stood as his witness. "You fight without honor," he said in his speech, "but you love with more honor than any warrior I've known." Lily's vows brought tears to human eyes and made Zorian skin shimmer with emotion. "You showed me that strength isn't about never falling, but about always getting back up. You taught me that different isn't dangerous, it's beautiful." Jack's vows were simple but profound. "On Earth, we have a saying, home is where the heart is. Lily, you are my home, no matter what star we're under." The celebration lasted 3 days, with representatives from dozens of species attending. The raiders sent a gift, a peace treaty signed in gold. Years later, Jack stood in the same throne room where he'd once been sentenced to death. Now, he watched his daughter take her first steps, a child with human curiosity and Zorian grace, her skin able to shimmer with colors no pure Zorian could achieve. King Vala, now grandfather, held her tiny hand. "She'll be queen one day," he said. "A queen unlike any before." "She'll be herself," Lily said, now crown princess and leader of the integrated fleet. "That's all we can ask." The empire had changed. Humans served alongside Zorians, their innovation complementing Zorian stability. Trade flourished, defenses strengthened, and the hybrid technology revolutionized space travel. "Do you ever regret it?" Lily asked Jack one night. "Getting lost in space? Nearly dying? How can I regret the malfunction that led me to you?" Jack replied. "Though I do sometimes wonder what would have happened if I just fixed my navigation properly." "You'd have mapped your sector and gone home," Lily said. "And missed everything that matters. Then thank the stars for broken ships and stubborn kings," Jack laughed. "And for princesses brave enough to believe in impossible things." Their daughter gurgled, her skin flashing rainbow colors, a sign of pure joy that only she could produce. She was proof that bridges were always better than walls, that love could conquer fear, and that sometimes, the best adventures came from the worst disasters. The end.